Okay. So, hi everyone. Welcome back to our meeting. We have concluded our Sprint 2 development, and now we are starting our Sprint 3. And according to our last status, I guess we have concluded some of the stories, and I have moved a couple of stories to continue the development in Sprint 3. So let's first review those stories and share some updates. Okay, let me share my screen. Yeah. So this is the current Scrum board. As of today, we have. Let me move it. Okay. Okay. So yeah, as of today, we have total of 5 stories in the list, and which includes the Open Config model integration assigned to Grove, and Henry has 2 items: RESTconf RPC and patch support, which I believe should conclude very soon. Right? And there's also RPC dispatcher implementation assigned to Cicera, and Utah's device synchronizer implementation. So I put this up onto our wiki. So probably let's go through this one by one. Okay, so first item, what do we have concluded? The RPC abstraction and code cleanup is. I'm sorry, this is not done, but
this is done.
Yeah, this is done and concluded. There are 2 bullets in the comments which says we need to do the transaction ID support and event consolidation in this sprint, right?
Yeah.
So probably I'm gonna create 2 separate stories and Cesara assigned to you.
The stories are there. I'll give you the number.
Oh, you already have that. Okay.
Yeah, that's from the last sprint, right? I'll give you the task ID.
Okay. So then I'll probably need to also move this to this sprint, right?
Yeah, just a second.
Yeah, maybe I can search on that.
Yeah, I somehow can't find that task in my anymore. So I'll update the wiki page on that. There is the previous task from the previous sprint.
Okay, no problem. I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are the 2 items that you plan to tackle for this sprint, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Sarah, I have a question about event consolidation, right? Our data node event has 3 types, right? Add, delete, and update. My question is, does the event consolidation apply to all 3 events? Can we?
Yeah, it applies to all 3 events. Dynamic config event.
Yeah. So I have a question about this update. Right now, as I probably mentioned in our last meeting, that RESTconf notification is listening to any update event. Okay. are we able to have a flexibility not to consolidate update event? So for example, if an application call dynamic config dot update node, can we still generate the event in the the granularity of each child node?
We should be able to, but what is the use case? I mean.
Oh, the use case is this. So right now our USConf wants to support so-called young push notification mechanism. Basically, what it is to allow the RESTconf client to be able to get an update event from the RESTconf from the dynamic config. Okay, so if a user say call a update network, for example, if an application calls that, of course, network has lots of child nodes right under the tree. We want any attributes that's updated under the network subtree to be to generate event accordingly. Only for the update. Are we able to do that?
Should be able to, yeah.
Okay, should be able to. Then how are we gonna proceed? Are we able to basically not to consolidate the event update?
Yeah. So the earlier difficulty for the listeners to like decide what to listen for would be there, right? If we send event like for every child node.
Yeah, that is probably design-wise more difficult, right? To have. Am I right that you are basically saying? Yeah.
Can I suggest something? I mean, very much. I don't think it should be. It should be the decision of the producer of the events to decide whether or not events will be generated. The producer clearly just makes the changes, and as a result of the changes, the events will be generated. We could take an approach similar to what the topology events take. For example, the topology, like in our topology subsystem, right? The topology changes as a result of either devices or links, inventory changes, and or status changes. And so the topology event sends one topology, sorry, the topology subsystem sends one topology event, which lists the reasons why it was triggered. And those reasons then include enumerated list of events, which are device events or link events. So we could similarly just generate one consolidated event, which will have the potentially listed set of reasons for why this one consolidated event was generated. And it's up to the clients then to decide whether or not they want to process that individualized list. I think that would be a better approach rather than making the client be in a business of, the producer being in business of deciding whether or how the events are going to be generated.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's a great idea, Thomas. So am I right that within the consolidated event, right, the content of the event payload would identify, right, the reason for the event. So for example, if it's a topology update, the event, right, that the event would contain which attribute under the topology is changed, right?
That's the idea.
I mean the at least the resource ID, right? Not the value of the attribute, but the resource ID.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, we clearly do not want to send an entire transaction of what changed from what it changed and stuff like that. I think it should be sufficient to be able to tell which entities, which were the entities, and what were they what were their were they updated? Were they I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much burden is going to be on a device config subsystem, but I would imagine that at very minimum, we should have at least an inventory of the things that have changed, but not necessarily what kind of changes they were subjected to. That's one. But probably I would think that what would be required for the functionality that you want would be a little bit more than that. Would be basically what has changed and how it has changed. In a sense, whether it was added, updated, or deleted, and then you can go from there to decide how you process it.
Yes.
Is this something that would be reasonably
reasonably,
for
yes. So sorry. Right. As a client, as a consumer, right? As a consumer, I REST what I need to know basically two things, two information, right? One is the event type, whether it's add, delete, or update. Secondly is basically a resource ID pointing to the resource of time. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that yeah? If I can have these two information from a consolidated event, I as a client or a consumer is capable of doing what I need to do. Okay. Yeah.
Right. So I think as long as you have the information of which particular part of the entity reported by the event gets changed, I think you can always separate.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
But the thing is, how much effort is this after dynamic config time?
That was my next question. Yeah, exactly. How costly is it for Citara to implement and for the?
So having the the change, the list of the reasons that should be the resource ID. So that is the plan already, and somehow it has come up that the data part also should be part of the events. So it shouldn't be an additional cost at the dynamic config.
Would it be so do we need the whole data, or do we just need the resource or the operation?
In one of the conversations with Utah, so it had come up that for rolling back for failure at the devices. So what happens is that when we are chunking and then the device synchronizer is working on them, when they try to read, they might read a newest copy of the data, right? So he was suggesting that we can have the old data and the new data in each event itself, similar to all other events in ONOS. I understand it is going to be costly, but then when I think from the rollback perspective, reading later wouldn't be a good idea. So I would like to hear your suggestions.
I see. Well, no, I mean that's fine. I would go with what Utah suggested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it might be really costly because probably we will end up sending around the whole subtree.
Right.
With old and new values as well. So I don't know.
Well, yeah. So our model, right, in ACTN, we probably have like a big tree, right, a big information. So supporting that. I mean, if we contain old data and new data in this consolidated event, it might be feasible to some small network, right? But when the network scale increases, I do not know if this is a this is a problem.
I wonder how. Yeah.
So which particular use case Utah was talking about? Basically, when there's a failure, you need to roll back, right? And if you only include the resource ID and when you follow the resource ID, read the value, it's gonna read like incorrect value. Or...
Yeah.
So one question. So if the object itself on the payload is immutable, even if we added a copy of the object itself, I mean, it's going to be sharing the same reference. So memory wise, there's not going to be much extra. Well, the extra for old and new, but other than that, it shouldn't be that bad, wouldn't it be?
It's immutable means you you cannot change it, but you still read the incorrect value if you roll back at the time when it's reading.
All right. So yeah, I completely agree that it'd be better to have on the event payload the object itself, but I don't think the type is that heavy. If if you can assume that that objects are immutable, then each event is just going to have a same reference to all the same instance of that tree. So, so I was hoping that fact will not be that heavy.
I guess we need to sort out
we have to count the cost for transmit, right?
So, right. So if you want to send it outside of the process, you may want to save off the data part if the external entity does not need that object. We're talking about the dynamic config event that's inside Java.
So yeah. So can I suggest one thing? Can we figure out the simplest, kind of, at least for now, perhaps the most simple and naive solution for the start? And we can either do it with a performance in mind or not. So we can either do a minimalistic solution, or we can do a full solution but a naive solution. So like, for example, right now we could say, okay, we think we're gonna need everything, so let's load it up and let's not worry about the cost, and let's just implement this. And then we can figure out where to optimize, and we can learn about where to start being a little more efficient.
Or if we can, or if we can iron out the logic, the running tree and the config tree, like the intended store and the operational store, we can have a strategy like or data on one store will not be modified until that transaction is complete. So if we can iron out the logical trees, also I can solve this.
I see.
So maybe I can talk to Yuta, and then can we figure out like what trees do we want to, and then I can make a logic where that tree won't be updated until that transaction is fully completed, and I get a response from the south as well. Only then I'll move it to the config.
I'm fine with that. I was just simply putting forth a suggestion.
Okay.
So Cicero, are you suggesting in that case we do not need to carry all of the data? Just wait until that it reads and
that we can at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I give a list of resource IDs and I keep a copy of them, and then like move. Then we will have to think through that solution a little bit because how many do we cache? We need to decide, and then we have to make a strategy. But at least like for the happy path solution, having 2 trees would solve that problem.
Right. Okay.
Right. That's probably a reasonable approach to start with, Sarah. Just one extra information I like to add is that I searched some earlier discussions in ODL. Okay, that ODL's consolidated event was indeed implemented by sending 2 copies of data. Okay, as the event payload. In some of the discussions, they realize that's a performance. There's a performance penalty associated with it, and they said they're gonna improve the implementation, not to send the data, okay, as part of the payload, but instead send the resource ID, okay, instead. So what I'm trying to say is that they probably learned some lesson. Yeah.
I have no doubt that they did. Yes.
Yeah, they probably learned some lesson from their earlier implementation. Okay. Yeah, it's not that scale. It's when the system is small, you can do it. When there's so many applications start to use your dynamic or the Yarn store, you start to see some problems. Okay.
Right. So this needs to be carefully considered. I guess probably Cicero can do some homework and figure this out. Okay. I guess let's move to the next one. preserve ordering of children in the store.
Yeah.
That is not done yet, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have okay, sorry for interruption. Do we have a story ID for the audio? Sorry. I was behind.
I'll move that to the sprint.
Okay. The reason why I asked this, Sarah, is that our request, right, from the user of the RESTconf asking us to support a filter, okay, which is a RESTconf feature, right? So what I mean in particular is that there's a limitation in RESTconf that a user cannot get a list, okay, from get UI, okay, if it's a list. So instead the user has to specify the parent, okay, the parent node of a list, then use filter to filter out any other child of the parent, right? And leave the list node alone. So what I'm trying to say is ask you two questions. One is that we do have a filter object, right, in dynamic config. It's not yet being fully implemented. Is that right?
Sorry, I think I heard someone typing quite a bit.
Sorry, that's me. That's me.
Okay.
I'm putting stuff away in the kitchen, so I'll put myself on mute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Henry.
Okay. Yeah. So sorry. I basically have two questions. Okay. First is that in order to support that requirement, right, for the RESTconf user, we probably need to implement a filter to filter out, to let the user to specify a particular child or a subset of child under a parent, and return. And when we do a read node, dynamic config read node, we only return those interested child. Okay, that's is that fair to say that that's a filter mechanism?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Secondly, more precisely, for my user case, right, to demo our dynamic config to some customer, is that they want a list. They want the list child. For example, in IETF network model, right, we have a child called a link. That is a list node. The customer want to retrieve link, okay, without retrieving any other child. So my second question is that perhaps to implement such a filter to retrieve only a list child, we probably need to work on the ordering first, correct? Is that a fair? Is that an accurate understanding? Okay. So two questions. So what are we? So the ordering of the node, is that something we do in this sprint?
Ordering can be done in the sprint. I moved it already to the sprint.
Yeah. Good. Secondly, for the filter, do you think we can do it as well?
I don't think so, because the event consolidation is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I can only finish those two.
So let to fit in schedule wise, do you think we can help? Like for the filter, do you think since the filter is probably a relatively independent work, other than this ordering work, it does not depend on other work or it would impact other work, right? Do you think I can help to?
Sure.
To improve the filter? Or you can you can teach me how to write, and I can write.
Sure.
Yeah. You think it's a reasonable thing to do
It should be. It should be there. Yeah, it should be. If it is blocking you, I mean, I wouldn't be able to finish it in this sprint. Yeah.
Okay, my gut feeling is that if once the ordering is finished work, this filter is basically should not be a complex, a difficult thing for someone like me who do not know dynamic config that well to do, right? Is that right? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Probably I can help.
We can refine and then see what exactly. So because that is an abstraction that was there for a long time, right? It hasn't undergone any of the design discussion. So we can see. It should be.
Right.
We can take up.
Okay. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, we can probably discuss offline and to see. Oh, okay.
Okay. So I put this picture here. Probably we need to create a story to keep track of that.
Yes.
Put it on a dependency to the node ordering feature, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. I think once a node is ordered, right, all the list, right, all the link nodes are together. My intuition is that the filter should not be that difficult to do.
Okay.
I just retrieve all the link.
Okay.
Yeah. All the link in one shot. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So then we can move to the device synchronizer, because Yuta probably has some updates on the implementation.
Right? So yeah. So basically, I've started looking into serialization code, and I have been doing introduction, Garth and Henry, and so on about the thing. To me, the main factor is more on I guess the factor I'm sort of concerned is that I agree on the tree structure. So do you think that proposed tree structure where the devices and so on sounds reasonable and need to flesh out if there's no other problem? Is that the general idea, or people are not sort of against going down that path? So what's your thoughts?
So you're talking about the devices, the tree structure of the device.
Also, yes, we will adding we sort of have it, but having a common devices and that branch of subtree where all the device tree is going to hang from, that kind of device design, and the notion of the relative resource ID within the Yang defined area and the absolute path when we talk to dynamic config store and so on. The email thread with Garth and so on going on last few days.
Yuta, I'll give my opinion over here. Basically, the tree structure, I feel it is perfectly fine. That's how it should be. Now, the only piece where I am having a difficulty here is like the top piece wherein the device ID is there, right? If we are moving it out of a Yang schema, so in that scenario, like how the internal applications like L3VP and OpenODEM, because they currently operate based on the generated POJO. So they have model object and model object ID. So using that, query they use the model converter facility to generate the resource ID and the data node. So they do not operate on resource ID and data node, which is the abstract notation. So basically, if we move them out of a Yang schema, then in that scenario, for those applications, first thing is that top piece, how they will construct, whether they will manually handcraft that top resource ID piece containing devices, device ID, and then they will concatenate that with the resource ID which is there pointing to the device schema resource somewhere in the device schema. So that is what they will do, or like what is our idea from that angle?
So yeah, That is basically my idea. So based on device ID, you will need to generate that device prefix file, devices, device, blah, blah, blah file. And then, but as long as you're building the config tree object, dealing with model ID and so on, I'm assuming everything will be relative within that Yang. So all those ID is going to be self-contained in that subtree, right? So the only time you need to add that prefix about devices and so on, that's when you're going back into the device config store. If that is the case, probably that there's not going to be drastic change, only minor change on the point where you actually save something or read something from the device config service. That is my guess right now, but I'm not completely sure about the model ID code and so on. So.
Okay, so the only concern what I was having was that piece only when the L3 VPN or any OpenORM needs to do a device configuration, they would be doing the same stuff what RESTConf protocol would be doing, wherein it will be handling that device addressing and the device proxy functionality by creating that resource ID, and then it needs to concatenate it. So that is an additional task which will be put on applications. So if that is fine, we can move ahead, I think.
So from the open roadmap kind of point of view, yeah, I think it's not going to drastically change well, my guess is that it's not going to drastically change the resource ID processing. We just need to add one layer when interacting with the dynamic config service. So hopefully it wouldn't be that bad. That's my guess. So I think we should try going down that path. That's my take.
Okay, maybe if everyone agree, we can start with this, and later point of time we can look into it further if we can optimize it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so I guess Yuta, I didn't capture most of the conversation. Probably you can update to the wiki page after that.
Okay, I'll do that.
Start with the design that we talk about, right? So you're going to generate like a devices, and every device will be under this subtree.
Right. All of this device-related configuration will be live under certain common structure, devices, device, or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So next one is the RESTConf RPC and RESTConf patch support. And as far as I understand, the code is under code review and should be done this really soon.
This week, yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I leave it as is. Yeah, and the same for the patch support.
Right.
Okay. All right. And so open configure model compilation moving also to this sprint, right? I understand that there are some time constraints to fixing all of the bug fixes. So probably Gaurav, you can share your comments on that.
Right, Ego. I think this will be moved to next sprint. We are working on it. Actually, the two of the defects are basically related to a feature which itself is not supported right now in the Yang 2. So efforts to support that feature involving compiler, runtime, serializer would be little heavy. So this will definitely go to the next sprint.
Okay, so Gaurav, probably you can like share some estimates of the workload, and I think this is probably one of the area if we are lucky to find, say, helper hands from the recruitment or from the dynamic config, right? That would be the best way to put it.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So when you have an estimate, probably you can also update the wiki page to indicate. And the Yang tools and the Yang runtime, the last comment is like all Yang type related bugs are fixed. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So Henry, with our also our practice with the Yang tools and the latest Yang file that we are generating, do you see any other concerns that needs to be raised here? Or?
So all the outstanding bugs are I think are covered, are fixed, right?
Yeah.
So the next step is there the few new syntaxes that's not yet been supported by Yang tools, right? We will support, but that's not a bug fix. That's right. That's basically supporting new syntax constructs, right?
Right. Like what? Like.
Like what we mentioned, augment a group, right? Group augmentation and support.
Yeah. So Henry, can I ask you, is this augmenting group supported by Yang itself?
Yes. It's a Yang syntax. I believe it's probably 1.1 syntax, right? It's a Yang 1.1. Yeah.
But there are
Pardon me?
Uses augmentation, what you are talking, right, is 1.0.
Yes. Okay, so that's definitely we need to support it. It's even in 1.0. Yeah. So new syntax. I mean not new, but
you're talking about augmenting a grouping.
Yes. It's how sorry. Uses more precisely is when a Yang model uses a group, right? Instead of augmenting the group directly, it basically augments a group on the fly whenever it try to use it. So it's
okay. Yesterday I was talking to the Yang draft author in ITF, and basically they mentioned that it is like augmenting a group, augment a grouping from a different Yang model is currently not supported by Yang, and not more people are talking about it.
But when the group is used inside a container, for example, right?
Yeah.
The container can extend the group by adding some extra attributes that's not defining the group.
You mean just adding the uses part?
Yes. Only when the container use that group, it can extend the group sort of like on the fly. It's only inside that container that use the group.
Okay. Not actually
not
like defining
right.
The of the grouping. Okay.
Yeah, not actually defining. Yeah.
So how do I describe that syntax here? Like
Grab has a good word because it uses augmentation. Augmentation. Uses is a verb, but
right.
Basically we try to augment that verb. Yeah, uses augmentation.
Something like that, right?
Yes, and another thing is so-called any data. So any data is another word, another another young word. That thing is not easy, right? To support it.
Right.
Just think of it, right? In our intuition, it's basically it's a container that can contain any data, right?
Right. This is necessary for notification, right?
Right. So because the young push notification, right? We cannot predefine what the structure look like. It changes on the fly. So we have this any data container, right? For to capture the payload of the notification. Yeah. So that's the right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are a few some other smaller syntax construct work items that probably I'll provide a list, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but these two are the two bigger ones.
Right.
Yeah, to support.
Okay. And the last item in the list is the Young Live compiler. So Gaurav, can you share some updates?
Okay, regarding the live compiler, the APIs, the changes in the Yang tool side is done. Basically, Yang web resource side changes are pending, so that will be taken up.
Mm-hmm.
So Get API will be supported after that.
Mm-hmm.
Model identifier changes are already done.
Yeah.
Okay, and
so quick question, Gaurav. Should we, with the changes being done in the ONOS Yang tools, should we cut another beta release of Yang tools to make it visible now in ONOS Codebase?
Yes, Thomas, I think we can. Yeah, we can do that. Just give me a day time because there has been little changes in the tool side. I wanted to get it tested
Sure.
for a day.
No problem. Just let me know. Let me know when.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so I think we go through all the list, and probably there are some stories that we need to create new. And Cesara, if you could sort out the two stories already existed for transaction ID and event consolidation, I can add it to the wiki and also put it into the sprint, this current sprint.
Yeah, I got the number. It is 6381.
Okay. 63881.
Yep.
Okay. For oops. What am I doing? Okay. This is for the transaction ID, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Other one already has a number 645. So.
Okay. And for the event consolidation.
Event consolidation is 6381, and then the other one already have a number. The ordering of the children.
Yeah. Ordering of the children.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. And okay, so I'm gonna double check the Scrum, the sprint items and put it and update it. Okay. So any other comments, guys? Okay.
No, I don't have any.
Thomas, any comments from you?
No, I don't. One quick question I had. So there is currently no changes pending for ONOS Yang tools, correct? I don't see any.
Gaurav, can you comment?
Open config defects we are working on, Thomas.
Okay, but no pending patches. Sorry, what I meant. Yes.
No pending patches. That's right.
Okay, perfect, great. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. So
also, so one quick question. If I can make a request, this is on behalf of VN. If it would be possible for the next sprint to see if you can get the stories there as part of the sprint planning cycle.
Yeah.
If that would be good, because that way it would give visibility to what work is happening.
Okay. Yeah.
Not just for VN, but also for other stakeholders, and that way we can start using the Jira for conveying the work that's pending and that's happening. We don't have to necessarily document it on Wiki separately.
Yeah, sure. As I said, most of that is already in the sprint.
I saw that. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, a few of that just like we added it today probably needs to be created, and I'll see to add it.
Great.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all.
And Iva, when you're done with the recording, if you wanna just can you put it on Dropbox or somewhere, and I can upload it to the YouTube channel?
Yeah. I will.
Just send me a link when it's converted. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.